Hello, folks. TL Tedford Enterprises Incorporated. A brief economic uh, session here that we want to look at and understand a few terms and things that we're looking at in the near future. And this is all the things that are being brought out by our president, Donald Trump. So we'll jump into it a little bit real quick here and just kind of cover it. You're going to have questions and things of that nature. So later, um, we'll address that as they come. But anyway, we're going to start out now, and I'm going to take you to a page and show this to you. And this is the Nasara Garsara. This is the Nasara is national, the G Garsara is global. And so on this document here, you're going to notice that it's going to discuss and tell you different things about the Nasara Garsara plan. And this is totally going to change up all of the financial system across the world. We're going to go to digital currency. We're not going to need banks anymore. We're not going to need any of that because everything that you have will be digital and it will be backed up by the actual precious metals to cover it. Okay, so this starts out here. It's the National Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. Reformation is obviously a something you're entitled to because you and your ancestors have been ripped off, so to speak, by the banks, everything. Okay, so just real quick, let me jump in just a little bit. It says here the Nasara is the most groundbreaking information to sweep not only the United States of America, but the whole planet. Thus, Garsara. That's where it tells you that it's global. Okay. In its entire history, the Act does away with the Federal Reserve Bank, the IRS, the shadow government, and much more. So, Nasara implements the following changes. One thing here that you're going to notice, and it's going to really stick out to you, is that it's going to zero out all of your credit cards, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. This is the Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee or a forgiveness of debt. Abolishes the income tax. Abolishes the IRS. Employees of the IRS will be transferred into the U.S. Treasury National Sales Tax area. It's going to get into it, I know, but what's going to get well, right the next line. Okay, it creates a 14% flat rate, non-essential new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes. And what that's saying, if you didn't catch it, is that if you buy a brand new home, you pay tax on it once. Okay, so that's a big deal. You don't pay tax on your house every year. So if you buy a used home, there is no tax. That's simple as that. That's exactly what it says. Okay. So when we look at that, we look at anything. A used car, no tax, nothing. Okay, you just buy it. That's it. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to pay a 14% flat tax. If you go to the grocery store and spend money, that's when you pay tax. That's it. And it's only on new items, and like the thing, and with the exceptions of food and medication and stuff. So that is a pretty good deal. That's good for all Americans. It increases benefits to seniors, citizens. So they're going to get better treatment and things of that nature, which actually there's multiple layers of this. So we'll follow this list just for discussion. And then returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. So no more being treated without the considerations of your constitutional rights. That's going to stop. Okay, so that's judges have already. There's a lot of over 400 judges have already retrained in the constitutional law, and they are already back on their benches, 2 years training, and they're already back on their benches, and they govern completely by the Constitution. You know, nothing is swept under the rug or anything else. That's over. Okay. Let's see. So we reinstate the original title of Nobility Amendment. I don't quite know where to go with that yet, but nobility, I believe, is what would it be, like Prince or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I don't see that one yet. But anyway, establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 100 days after the Nasara's announcement. Now, the Nasara was announced by Donald J. Trump, our president, to start this. So this 120 days will end March 4. Okay, and then this is supposed to go into effect. So all these things after March 4th, President Trump is put back in the White House, which is expected. And some of this is not, there's no proof of it because it's being kept very quiet. A lot of things point to it, and a lot of things make sense when you start thinking about it, but we'll get into that in another video. All right, let's see. After that, it's the interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return us back to constitutional law. In other words, we go back to the republic. We've been operating since the teens, 19 teens, under a corporation called USA Incorporated. This is where we started losing it, everybody. So just, if you don't know it already, that's where it happened. And that's where the bank reserves is going to be, the Federal Reserve Bank, it's going away. It's going to run 1 year and concurrently with this new bank. And after that, the Federal Reserve Bank will be completely bankrupt. And that's the intent, to drain all the funds up out of it. Okay, so it's a third party company. It's not a government thing. And they've been doing this real, we're treating us real bad. Okay, so we go back to that, return constitutional law. It monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of such interest groups, of special interest groups. It recreates a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum, precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933. It forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the United States Department of Transportation. I don't know what all that's really talking about. I mean, I understand the statement, but I don't know the problems there, so we'd have to look at that another time. It initiates new U.S. Treasury Bank system in alignment with constitutional law, restores financial privacy. You having all of your money is digitally assigned to you. In other words, this currency will be in your name, and people cannot take it from you. You have to reassign whatever money to them. So you will not have it anymore. They'll own it. And the best way I can kind of put this is, if you actually have manual paper money in your pocket and you drop, say, $20 out, nobody can pick it up and spend it because they don't own it. You own it. So I'm understanding that to say that you can't even lose your money. Okay? So we'll take that. All right. It's retrains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. Ceases all aggressive U.S. government military actions worldwide. Establishes peace throughout the world. Releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. I'll talk about this a little bit through some other reading I've done and some of the stuff that I've seen and heard, that this is going to end world hunger. This is going to end homelessness across the world. I believe there's 107 countries that are doing exactly the same thing as the United States. The leaders that are corrupt, all of this stuff, they're going to be pinned down and they're going to be tried for their things. And this is actually what's supposed to come out the other side. Now, from what I understand, President Trump wants to start this thing immediately. I mean, right now. So we'll see kind of where that goes. Everything's pretty secretive. So anyway, it establishes peace throughout the world, releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes, enables a release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity. Remember Popular Mechanics? Remember the anti-gravity vehicles we were supposed to be seeing by the 80s? Well, we had it, but the fossil fuel companies didn't want it. They bought it, the patent, and it just got shelved. So we've been buying and using our national resources, not to fossil fuels, things like that, when we didn't need to. Now these things are ready to come out. They're there. So so that comes out. Okay. And the healing machines. Now this is a big deal. I'm understanding that they've been able to cure cancer for over 30 or 40 years now. And this healing machine is a healing bed, so to speak, and it heals all sorts of things. And we just never knew about it. And the big pharma companies were involved in this as well with medication and stuff. They didn't want to put medication out that would heal you. That's been the whole problem. All these decades, they've been letting people die just for the sake of you having them having you keep buying medication to somewhat try to treat symptoms, prolong life a little bit, when all they could have saved it, they didn't. All right. Let's see. The National Economic Security and Information Act, compiled by Nancy Weiler, I guess. Okay. Winning a history Nasara requires locating the separate dots and attempting to put them together to create the truth. Okay. Government cover-up even goes into extraterrestrial presence, which supposedly we started communicating and working with aliens after the Roswell, New Mexico incident. What was that, in the 40s, I believe, 50s? It says do your own research. Evidence of the truth of Nasara released to it's perfect time for Nasara to be released to the world.